unfortunately with cats and dogs, by the time you start to notice a symptom, it's quite far gone for them because they're not telling you that, hey, I feel a bit off today or anything like that. So with Spence, it was a limp. He developed a limp in his front paw. We went and got it checked out and discovered that it was a tumor. And then as soon as they gave that diagnosis, all of a sudden his legs started swelling up. You noticed the lumps quite a lot. And it was really unfortunate because that was in the height of COVID. Um, Unfortunately, Spence had to hang around a little bit longer than he should have. And I absolutely feel for him. And I remember, being in tears, saying to him, like, please just go if you need to. And unfortunately, he didn't. It's never, death is not as convenient as that. Danny and I both had COVID. It was when they stuffed up all of those tests and they lost half of them, or they were so backlogged they couldn't process them. So people were stuck. I was one of those people whose tests they'd lost, and I was stuck at home like 3 weeks instead of 10 days or something like that. And so when we said goodbye to Spence, Danny, who it was like day one, he was allowed out that morning. And I called the vet and said, we're bringing Spence up. And Danny took him up and had to hand him over. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be in the room, which was really hard. But we'd organised with the service that was cremating him that Danny would bring Spence home. And so we could all say goodbye to him, and then they would come and pick him up from our home, which was really lovely. Pretty sure I gave those ladies COVID because I was just like crying and spitting, and in terms of airborne diseases, I was leaking a lot of fluids when I handed that boy over.
I shouldn't laugh.
No, no, no. I mean, you got to laugh, right? It was ridiculous in the end. It was just like, I can't believe this is going on right now, and how ridiculous the world was with COVID. It was just a completely new set of
It
rules
was
for us.
wild. Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. And, people were like, oh, you can leave home if you have to like take your animal to the vet and it's an emergency. And I'm just like, there was so much going on at that time. And when you're looking after them in the last days, and the vet said to us, I think you're better off making that choice yourself rather than waiting until it's possibly too far gone, which is unfortunately what we did. They said, oh, it's probably going to be in the next few weeks. And we said, okay, then, we'll just take it sort of day by day at this stage. And within a week, he was ready to go, but we'd gotten COVID, and it was awful. It was very hard because he was so pumped up on meds and things like that, on all this pain relief and this massive cocktail of pain relief. He was barely eating. He wasn't moving himself around much. And you're looking for any sign of life at that stage, but you have to remember, like, a sign of life is not life. It's this one thing. And, one thing in 3 days is not sustainable. Danny and I, it's our family. We have to agree on when we're going to say goodbye to him. And then COVID and everything took that out of our hands anyway. That one was really hard. And I feel like Spence sort of took a bullet for us because this is the first time Danny and I as a family had to make a decision about a member of our family. So, yeah, we had to be in agreement on that.